And today we've come here for this ITSM webinar called From ITIL Concepts to Atlassian Solutions, with a specific focus on the incident management with Jira Service Desk. And for this presentation, we have Erin Collins, Senior Consultant and ITSM Practice Lead in the UK. Over to you, Erin.
Thank you, Anthony, and good afternoon, everyone. Here in the UK, many of us are working remotely as well, as I am. So not in France, not completely in lockdown yet, but we're getting there, I think. So let's just take a few minutes to talk about ITSM and what ITSM means in the Atlassian and the Jira Service Desk world. ITSM stands for IT Service Management, and it refers to all of the activities that are involved in delivering a life cycle of IT services. In an ITIL 4 world, you would really refer to that as co-creating value of IT services with your businesses. And it's a cycle of delivering, managing, improving, and designing those services to continue to bring value to your business, to even the IT department, and as well as to customers and clients involved. The Atlassian approach to ITSM really revolves around some core ITSM processes. And while ITIL is certainly the most well-known framework, there are many other frameworks involved that can be utilized. FIT-SM, for example, Lean ITSM are just a couple of examples, but they all have these kind of 4 processes or more processes that are core to their philosophies and their frameworks: service request management, incident management, problem management, and change management. A lot of people sometimes ask, well, what's the difference between incident management and problem management? If you come from an ITIL background, the difference between incident and problem really comes down to incidents being those events which unexpectedly draw down service from a business or an organization, and a problem is when that continues to happen over time, where similar incidents continue to happen over time, where there may be workarounds in place, but really there's a root cause that has to be addressed. And that goes into the difference between an incident and a problem. In ITIL 4 and in Atlassian parlance, incident management refers not only to the small little kind of day-to-day incidents that might occur that we all think of traditionally as, oh, that's just an issue, that's just an incident, you know. But this kind of incident management also refers to the much larger incident management, the major incident management, the kind of incident that requires immediate mobilization of resources to address something that has happened, something unexpected, some service failure. So if your email server goes down, we're talking about priority 1 or SEV 1 or however you refer to that internally, those big issues that involve special communications to your teams. It involves getting an incident manager involved who can kind of manage the resources around an incident. So when we're talking about incident management in this context, that's really what we're starting to talk about. And ITIL 4, although we're not specifically going to talk about the differences between ITIL 3 and ITIL 4, ITIL 4 really does hone in on incident management as that type of incident that causes that kind of immediate response, or that requires that kind of immediate response. where of course service management, service request management is exactly what you might think of. You know, your end user, your customer comes to you and is asking for a service of some kind, whether it's a new keyboard or whether it's a new report from the data warehouse. Those are all service requests and can usually be tied back to some kind of service catalog if you have one. A key hallmark about problem management as well, and this is something that we'll take a look at in this webinar, a key aspect of problem management and incident management is the concept of, for a problem, the concept of a known error database or a workaround. So when we talk about problem management, we're also going to talk about being able to create a known error database entry from our problem management into our Confluence. With incident management, you always want to be doing some kind of post-problem or post-incident review. You might call it a post-mortem, you might call it a post-problem review, you might call it an after-action review. There are many, many terms for it. But in essence, they all attempt to do the same thing, to take a look at an incident that has occurred, that has, as you know, after the fact, understand what caused it, understand the timeline of it, and to put together some tasks to help the betterment of managing incidents like that going forward. So it's a constant iteration and a constant learning. And then change management. We're not going to talk a great deal about change management today, but change management frequently comes in off the back of an incident or a problem. When you've done your root cause analysis and you realize that something in the environment has to change, whether it's a people process or an organizational process or a process within your operations team or in the environment itself. So that's where your change management will come in, but we're not going to spend a great deal of time on that. But all ITSM solutions, including our own that we have here in our demo environment, includes a change management process. So incident management with Atlassian, what we're going to do today is we're going to discover incidents that have been reported or requests that have been submitted. And I'll show you what that looks like here in just a couple of minutes. We're going to identify the fact that multiples have come in. And then we're going to get an alert from our tool called OpsGenie, which we're quite proud of this tool. It's very, very handy. We'll look at how we categorize that, how we identify customers, how we communicate with our customers and show them kind of the statuses, the various statuses that occur within an incident that they can review, and then how we recover from that. And that's how we're going to progress our demo today. We are going to use 4 aspects of Atlassian tools. We're going to be using Jira Service Desk, the portal, and internally. We're going to be using Confluence. We're going to show you Statuspage, and we're going to show OpsGenie. We're not going to dive into a great deal of technical detail, but if you do have any technical questions, please feel free to ask those, and we'll see if we can address them toward the end of the session today. Okay. Anthony, if we're good to go, then I will go ahead and start the demo.
Yes, you can. Perfect.
Okay. Let me see if I can. There we go. All right. So what I have here today is our Valiantis demo environment. This is our customer portal. And as a user, as a customer, I'm going to raise a ticket. I'm going to get some IT help. And what I need help with is my website portal. And as I'm typing in my summary, I notice that some other tickets have been opened around this similar issue. So it makes me wonder as a user whether there's an ongoing issue that maybe I should be aware of. But I haven't gotten an email about this, so I don't really know. But I am having difficulty logging into the admin settings page of my web portal. And I'm going to click the Create button. And that happened pretty quickly. I will admit now that I've had some connection problems today, so I'm very pleased at how quickly that was created. I opened this as Alan Allister. He's our end user today. This comes in as an open and unassigned. Now, as an agent, I will probably be hanging around in this area of the queues. These are our queues in Jira Service Desk. And that one comes in to the unassigned issue queue. And I see that's right there. I see that Alan has created that for us. And he has said that his web portal is not responding. Now, as a company, I provide a number of resources and servers and services to clients, and web hosting is one of those. And so Alan is one of my web customers. And I also see that based on his summary, the title of his ticket, that there are a number of other issues out there around this same thing. And I think I'm going to start by clicking on my triage button. I don't know how urgent it is at this point. It may be very minor, but I'm going to assign it to myself and look into it. And I'm going to just click on my triage button. And let's see, AITSD 611. I'm going to link that ticket. Well, perhaps I'll look at that ticket before I link it. In the meantime, the network team, I'm going to put a different hat on here. The network team has noticed that some alerts have come up on the one of our web services. So web services on WH7 are exhibiting a fault. So our network team has gone out to OpsGenie, and they are going to tell us that the web services on the device WH7 are having a fault. So I'm gonna as a network engineer, I'm gonna call it a P2. It's not a P1. The whole thing isn't down, but it's definitely causing a problem. So alarm. A few alarms are going on WH7, and we're looking into it. But please, and as an engineer, I'm asking the service desk to please handle this as a major incident. And I'm going to click on Create. What that's going to do, actually, it's going to push a ticket down into Jira Service Desk. So I'm this first line agent, and I have an OpsGenie alert queue, and I notice that I have received this alert. Okay, so what I know now is that these tickets regarding this website error, I bet these are all linked. And after I do a little bit of investigation, I do realize that this incident is causing end users to be unable to access the admin portal. So it's a degradation of service is what I'm seeing here. But it's not a full-on outage. They can still get to the website and their customers can get to their website, but it's definitely a problem. So we want to report that out. We want to provide some statuses on that for our end users. So I'm going to do two things in this circumstance. I'm going to go out to Statuspage. As a first line agent, at this point, it's my responsibility to create a status. I've been enabled to do that. I've been asked to do that by my manager, so I'm going to do it. And web WH7 is faulting on the admin portal page. And I could change this, but for right now, I'm going to leave the message as we are investigating this issue. I'm going to select my component as website, and I'm going to call it a degraded performance. This will also send out notifications to anybody who is subscribed to Statuspage. And then what that looks like here, I'm going to refresh this. This will automatically update this, but I wanted it to come in a little bit faster. And here is the status that I just wrote. Now, you might decide that you have, a more user-friendly way of approaching that. And I would invite you, if you are using this, to use whatever wording and policy is appropriate for your organization. Maybe your end users prefer to see it this way, or they might just prefer to hear that the admin portal page is having a problem. So whatever makes sense for your organization is exactly the way that you would want to word this. And Statuspage provides that kind of flexibility. Now, if your user comes out here to Statuspage and they share this link with somebody, that second person, if they're not subscribed to it, they can subscribe just by putting their email address, and they'll subscribe to this incident. If they wanted to subscribe to all updates, then they can do that through here. Now, the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do a few edits on this. Now, this came in through through our monitoring system, although our network engineers actually manually created that alert because we like to have a little bit more control over the alerts that are going out. But I'm going to go through and I'm going to set some categories on this. This is one of our business applications. And we're getting system errors. I would say that the impact is moderate at this point. It's moderate, but it's high because our customers, it's very important to them that they be able to provide the kind of administrative support to their own websites as is necessary. And I'm going to assign this to myself. I also happen to know that this is on the Comms Hub South device. So I'm going to add all of those edits in there. And then because they've asked me to treat this as a major incident, I'm going to click on my Upgrade to Major Incident button. And I'm going to assign an incident manager. And I'm going to make sure that the clients that are affected are listed here. Plus, I'm going to add a comment that this has been verified as an issue. And then I'll click on my Upgrade to Major Incident button, and this has now been upgraded. So we've changed the issue type to Major Incident. The priority has been changed to P1. All of our other values are still here that we put. And the request type has also been changed to Major Incident. Now, at the moment, the reporter of this is me, but I'm going to change this to Mr. Allister. And I'm going to include my Vandalay Bay customer and my customer contact. So even though Alan was the reporter, my key contact for this particular client is Chenille over at Vandalay Bay. And because this is a client impacting incident, I'm going to start creating some client tickets. Now what this does, it will allow me to address each client individually. In this circumstance, there's only one client who is impacted by this. So we've created a client incident, we've linked it, and it contains all of the detail, or most of the detail, that was in my major incident ticket. And this is now called a major client incident. And the other thing that we've done on here in the summary line is we've added customer incident to distinguish this from master tickets. And we've put the client's name on here of Vandalay Bay. And what I can do from this point is I can click on my email button and I can select a template that I want to use to send to my client. So automatically my email is going to go to that client, and I'm going to add some text. Now I have some default text that I can use to send to my client, but I think I want to add a further note on here. But our default tells our client that this incident affecting their service, and that we've dispatched an engineering team, and that will update them within 60 minutes, because 60 minutes is the kind of service that this client is on. They're on a standard delivery service. And I'm going to add the following, but not all in caps. And I'm going to invite them to contact me if they'd like to have a conference call. And I'm going to go to preview again, just so that I can see that, yes, in fact, my text is in here. And from here, I can click send. And then I'm taken back into my client ticket. I'm going to click on Start Progress, and I'm going to assign it to myself, because I'm going to personally handle this client. And just as a good double checking thing, I see that yes, indeed, that email did go out, and I have a log of that. Now, changing hats slightly again, I'm going to go back up to OpsGenie. And I'm going to assign this to Andrew. Although I am going to, on my own, I'm going to acknowledge that. And a little bit of time has passed, and it looks like the engineering team has identified what the problem is. And because I want to be generous with my words with our customers, I'm going to give them a little bit more information than otherwise they might. And they're a fairly technical group, so I know my customer, and I know they'll understand what I mean when I say that we have discovered that a Java update was received and we need to apply a patch. Don't everybody all laugh at once. So that's now been updated. So we know what went wrong, and we know we need to apply a new patch to our WH7 device to support the Java update. As an agent, I'm going to log that in here. And we'll say that a little bit of time has passed and we've applied the patch and now we're monitoring it. So the patch has been applied and the service appears to be responding as normal. We're monitoring closely. I'm not going to set this to operational yet. I won't do that until I'm satisfied that it's resolved, but I'm going to leave it there and we'll click on update. So all of these are going to send notifications to the client. So they don't have to sit out here on Statuspage to get those updates. And in fact, the update that's on Statuspage will be the same as the one that they receive in their email. In the meantime, I'm going to link some of my other tickets. So I'm going to link, let's see, AITSD 610. I'm going to link AITSD 611. These are all clearly a result of this issue. AITSD 607 and AITSD 606, which is the one that Mr. Allister recently. All right. And now I've just heard in my other ear that that they're closing this. So we'll call this resolved, and we'll let our users know that the web service is now functional. I will reset my component to operational. And in fact, I'm going to add one more note on here. I'm going to indicate that we will be looking into, shall we call it unauthorized so that we can mitigate future incidents such as this. So our banner has gone green. Here are the past incidents that we have experienced. And here's the background on all of that. So all of the messages that we sent: investigating, identified, monitoring, resolved. Now, I'm going to go out to my customer incident, and I'm going to mark this as done. In fact, I'm going to go up here. I've already linked so many issues to it, I don't need to link another one here. This one's already linked anyway. And I'm going to let the customer know through my comments here that the incident has been resolved, and we will investigate for lessons learned. Now, what I'd like to do is I'd like to close this down, but I'm not going to quite yet, because what I want to do, this happens more and more often. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise a problem ticket. Now, I'm raising this because anecdotally, I have this kind of information. We've noticed this happening frequently, this type of thing with the Java updates. There are so many reasons to open a problem ticket, not the least of which is to reduce volume, of course, to your frontline service desk folks, your first line service desk folks, as well as to create and build confidence with your customers. When they know that we're looking into things, that we know we're investigating things for improvements to improve their service, to improve our own ability to provide that service, that's always important. I'm going to reset the urgency to medium. And I'm going to create this ticket now. So this is our problem ticket. I am gonna reduce the priority on this to a P3. And later on in the problem process, we may raise that back up, but for now, we'll leave it as is. The other thing that I want to do here is I'm going to create a known error. So I'm categorizing this now. There's really not much more I need to categorize at this point. And the root cause is unknown at this time, but possibly. And before I return back to my incident, my major incident, I'm going to create and link a problem article. And this is where you would put that into Confluence. This is where you would add your workaround. So here's our wiki page. And in fact, in our solution, that's a requirement in order to make that problem ticket progress. And that's a core of ITIL as well. You always have a workaround when you have a problem. So I'm going to go back over to I'm going to go back up to my change, let's see. Here we go. Here's my major incident ticket. Partly I can see that because of the icons. These are service requests that came in from users. These are incident tickets. And this is my major incident ticket. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close this as a major incident because we have resolved it. I'm just going to type a brief note to the customer and ask them to let us know if they run into any further issues. But I can't because I have linked tickets that all must be closed before I can do that. I'm actually going to remove these links. But not that one. So another core tenet in ITIL and in most ITSM environments is the issue of making certain that all of your linked tickets are closed down before you close down that master ticket. And that's what we've done here. Now, earlier I said that another core tenet of many ITIL processes as well as ITSM processes is some kind of a PIR. Well, there are a couple of different ways to do that. OpsGenie provides the ability to generate a postmortem. So there we go. OpsGenie offers the ability to create a postmortem or a post-incident review. And let me see if I can. Excuse me. OpsGenie also offers the ability to create a war room. So if we wanted to have bring a number of other associates into this conversation, we could do that here. I could enter the session, and then my video would be enabled, and I could invite other people to this war room as well. And here we go. So this is a little bit about what the postmortem report looks like in OpsGenie. And you've got your timeline here, and this can all be exported to whatever application you want to use that with. However, what we've also done within Jira Service Desk and using Confluence is that we have created a postmortem here as well. So I always have to log in. And this is the postmortem that we have created off the back of that incident ticket. And it's got a brief summary of the incident. It's just the title of the ticket, the severity, who the incident manager was. It's got some of the assets that were involved in this incident. And at this point, as you know, many postmortems or PIRs have to be edited. You have to be able to include tasks in there for achieving, any PIR goals, any goals that are associated with your PIR policies. So Confluence obviously gives you the opportunity to do that and to do that collaboratively as well. So your entire team can start putting together tasks. Who did what, and then any action items that need to be carried out as a result of this. So that is that's the PIR or the postmortem or PIR that we've created off the back of this particular incident. So building a knowledge-centric service desk and being able to show what other incidents and connecting your knowledge management system up with that is really, it's a core value in terms of ITSM and a core value in terms of ITSM frameworks that are out there. You can measure those services with KPIs as well. Proactively communicating, being on top of those comms with your clients, using a variety of tools, and then adopting that more formal post-incident review process or post-mortem process. Those are real valuable adds as part of the ITSM processes. It's pretty agile. It's very collaborative. It's fairly efficient. And we would also invite you to review the Forrester consulting study that was recently published regarding cost savings and business benefits enabled by using Jira Service Desk. There is a link in that presentation. You can click on this link to go get that white paper. It has a lot to say about employee productivity and the improvements in ticket handling time that can be obtained, as well as cost savings using solutions, and describes how an improved user experience can be obtained by using Jira Service Desk.